Before I left for my Appalachian Trail through hike, there was a lot of things that people told me about. They told me about the friendships that I would make along the way, these lifelong bonds that still have held up to this day. They told me about the amazing scenery, the stunning, jaw-dropping views that I would see every single day out there. They told me about how good it would feel to push my body and mind to its limits day in and day out for months on end in order to accomplish this goal that I had set for myself. They didn't tell me that I would shit my pants. So I kind of wish they had told me that, but anyways, here's 7 hard truths about hiking the Appalachian Trail. What's up, what's up? Welcome, that was the weirdest shit. Welcome to the channel here, everybody. If you're new, hello, I'm Kyle. I'm a little bit sick right now, don't mind my voice, and try not to look at the pimples on my forehead. Can you see them? Probably, yep. If you are someone who's interested in hiking and backpacking, or through hiking, or the Appalachian Trail, or none of those things, I ask you please, from the bottom of my heart, to hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, even harder than you hit the subscribe button. For those of you that don't know, I through hiked the Appalachian Trail in 2018, which was kind of a long time ago now. I'm still freaking blabbing about it, still making videos about it, but obviously it had a very profound impact on my life. And I didn't actually shit my pants, by the way. That was a joke, I swear. It's been a while since I have talked about the Appalachian Trail on this channel, and so I wanted to make this video today, 7 hard truths about through hiking the Appalachian Trail. So if you're gonna hike in the future, this should be helpful for you. And even if you're just interested in the Appalachian Trail and Appalachian Trail culture, maybe you follow a lot of the vloggers every year, stuff like that, you might just be kind of interested to know about some of the things that they go through behind the scenes. This video is for you, so once again, subscribe. And let's get into hard truth number 1. You're gonna have to make a lot of sacrifices in order to successfully hike the Appalachian Trail. And some of these sacrifices are gonna be obvious, right? Like you're gonna put your life on hold. You're not gonna be living in your house or your apartment. You might have to quit your job, your family. You're gonna have to leave your family and your friends behind potentially. These are some of the obvious sacrifices that people make in order to through hike the Appalachian Trail, but there's also some less obvious ones. I'm gonna talk about comfort in just a few minutes here, but you're sacrificing your comfort in a lot of ways. It's like, yeah, you have your sleeping pad or maybe your hammock to get into at the end of the night, but in general, you're gonna be on your feet. Think about this, you're gonna be on your feet for a lot of hours every single day. The ability to get like hot food, like whenever you want to get takeout, it's like, yeah, you're gonna be in town sometime, but you're not gonna have it nearly as accessible as you normally would in, regular life. Being able to be sheltered from the elements, that's something that you kind of will sacrifice a little bit if you through hike the Appalachian Trail. Of course, again, there's limits to that. You got your tent, you got shelters, and you can get off the trail if you have to. If there's like a hurricane coming, like obviously, you're not just gonna be out there in a hurricane. Like, well, I had to sacrifice safety. Like, no, but you know what I'm saying. You're gonna have to sacrifice a lot, and it's not just gonna be the big things like you're not seeing your family and your friends and your job and stuff like that. There's gonna be a lot of small things too. The second hard truth about through hiking the Appalachian Trail is that you are going to experience the lowest of lows. And before I get into that and talk a little bit more about what that means, I just wanna say a quick shout out to this video's sponsor, Drink Element. Awesome company that makes amazing electrolyte drink mix that you need to freaking buy. It's amazing. And actually, come to think of it, you really don't even need to buy it like right now, because if you use the link right here and also in the description, you can get a free sample pack of 8 different Element electrolyte drink mix flavors for the cost of shipping. I think it's $5 if you're in the US. It's a great deal. I really appreciate them hooking it up. Since we're talking about the Appalachian Trail, I just wanna do a little throwback. Every single day I was covered head to toe in sweat. It was like I jumped in a pool. I could wring out my clothing. Absolutely disgusting. And when you're sweating a lot, you gotta replace that salt, those electrolytes, and you gotta do it with drink Element because it tastes good, and if you don't replace those electrolytes, you are going to be suffering from fatigue like you've never seen before. You're gonna be getting muscle cramps, and you can get some other drink mixes that have like a bunch of sugar and like all this BS basically. I'm not gonna lie, I drank some of that stuff on my thru hike, and I really wish I hadn't. I wish I had drank Element instead. Not only is this stuff gonna make you feel better when you're backpacking and hiking, when you're sweating a lot, but it also just tastes like really freaking good. They have crazy flavors that I've never seen before. This time I'm gonna show this chocolate salt. Like, that's super crazy and creative. I love how they do that. They also have more standard flavors too. Go check them out once more. Use that link in the description. Free sample pack, free. You just pay the cost of shipping. Limit 1 per customer. Gotta throw that in there. Let me talk more about what I meant by the hard truth of experiencing the lowest of lows on your Appalachian Trail thru hike. So you probably have heard this saying before. I've said it before. When you're thru hiking, you're gonna experience the highest of highs, and you're also gonna experience the lowest of lows. And I think sometimes people only think about that in terms of the highest of highs. And being kind of negative here, but like, a thru hike's awesome. Like, you should do it. Like, I'm telling you, you should do it. But I think it's important just to remember, like, you are gonna experience some really low lows. There are going to be a lot of things that go wrong. I've already talked about weather a little bit. You're gonna get rained on a lot. Like, you're going to hike hours and hours and hours of your life, miles and miles and miles of your thru hike through the rain. And it's gonna suck. You are probably going to have some sort of injury at some point. Hopefully it's not like a serious injury. Hopefully it's not something that's gonna take you off the trail. But chances are at some point you are going to be a little bit banged up and injured. I know people who have to get off the trail for weeks at a time in order to heal injuries like shin splints, foot problems. I mean, hell, even blisters can like really mess up your day. You're gonna experience some really low times because none of that stuff is fun. The third hard truth, and to those of you that are planning on thru hiking in the future, this is gonna be one you are not gonna wanna hear, but I'm not here to sugarcoat anything. Statistically speaking, you're probably not gonna make it. I don't say that to dissuade you. I don't say that to discourage you. I'm not trying to be a d***. I say that because it's true, and you can actually use the odds being against you in your favor, if that makes any sense. It's actually impossible to say for sure, like how many people complete the thru hike every year, but the ATC estimates that 25% of prospective thru hikers actually complete the trail. And I knew that going into it. I was very determined to be one of those 25%ers. And yeah, I used it as motivation, and you can as well. Don't let it discourage you, let it humble you, and give it your best shot. Hard truth number 4 about thru hiking the Appalachian Trail is that it's not gonna play out how you think it will. Let's take places for instance. You picture all these like famous places on the Appalachian Trail, McAfee Knob, how about Mount Katahdin at the finish for instance, Klingman's Dome, like all these different like well-known famous places on your thru hike. You picture yourself getting to them. You picture yourself having an amazing time on them. Max Patch, that's another one I forgot. I freaking love that place. A lot of these places, okay, that you might have these like ideas of like how it's gonna be to finally be there after you've like learned about them so much and seen other people hiking through there and stuff. A lot of the time you're gonna get there and you might be in a bad mood because of something that happened earlier in the day. Maybe your body's not feeling great, and so you don't actually end up enjoying it as much as you thought you would. Maybe the weather's bad. Maybe you get to the top of Max Patch and it's this clear open mountain. It's supposed to be this like really iconic, beautiful place, and it's completely socked in and it's pouring rain. You just need to know that like when you romanticize and build up these moments in your head, specifically I guess when it comes to places, these moments might not actually play out exactly how you think they will. Hard truth number 5 about thru hiking the Appalachian Trail is that people are gonna doubt your ability to finish your thru hike. And if you don't believe me, statistically speaking,
you're probably not gonna make it.
So maybe I'm one of those people. I'm not trying to doubt you, I'm just trying to be realistic here. But you are gonna meet people that will either say it straight to your face or kind of insinuate maybe like subtly that they don't think you're gonna be able to finish. This is probably gonna happen more at the beginning or maybe even before you leave for your thru hike. It could come in the form of friends and family who are like there's no way this clown is gonna be able to hike 2,000 miles. They're gonna get eaten by a bear. But yeah, people are gonna doubt you, and you are gonna probably experience this while you're on trail as well. It's not like super common. It's not gonna be like every day you're gonna meet someone who's like, oh, like you're never gonna make it. But like you probably will at some point have an encounter with somebody, probably not another thru hiker, where they might kind of doubt you. Maybe they will go and kind of like make some comments about your gear, or maybe I don't know. Usually when these people say things like this, they don't actually know that much about thru hiking, so you shouldn't take it seriously. If anything, use it for motivation, but just be aware of that. You might encounter some haters and some doubters at some point along your way. Don't let them get to you. Item number 6. This next hard truth goes back to comfort, something I talked about at the beginning of the video. Hard truth number 6 is that you're going to have to accept some level of uncomfortability. I knew when I wrote the script for this video I was gonna struggle with that word. You're gonna have to accept some level of uncomfortability. Yeah, that's the best I'm gonna say it. It's the last time I'm gonna say it too. Now, there's certainly ways that you can mitigate this. Like some people are gonna be a lot more uncomfortable than others based on their choices in terms of gear and footwear, based on their physical abilities, their like level of fitness, based on their experience backpacking, like all these different things. But I don't care how experienced you are, I don't care how in shape you are, at the end of the day, if you try to hike through 14 different states, guys, you're gonna be uncomfortable at some point, and you have to accept that. A lot of these things I'm talking about in this video are things that you should just try to accept before you leave, because you're gonna be better off once you encounter them when you're on your thru hike if you've already thought about it and you're ready for it. The uncomfortability factor is like a huge reason why people get off the trail, because they don't realize like how hard it is to, you're walking every single day through the elements. I guess I don't really have that much else to say about this. You're gonna be uncomfortable, you gotta accept it. And yeah, next item. The next hard truth about hiking the Appalachian Trail is that you're gonna make mistakes. And it'd be easy for me to just target this at the beginner backpackers, at the inexperienced backpackers, but the truth is this is for everybody. Even you, Mr. Triple Crowner, who's going back again for like another round. I don't know, do people do that? Probably not. You're gonna make mistakes out there. You have to accept this. And the mistakes could be like a range of different like things, right? Like gear is a really big one. I've seen people go out there and just be like super stubborn about their gear. And I think it's like a shame to do that. I think you should make like the best choices you can as far as your gear and like start with that, but like you have to be open-minded right from the start that maybe some of the gear you chose won't work out, and be ready to change. I am hopefully gonna be hiking the PCT in the future, and this is something that I've thought about a lot. It's like, I'm pretty experienced now hiking on the East Coast with this weather, this climate, this kind of terrain. But when I go out to the West Coast, there's gonna be things that I haven't experienced before. I've never hiked in a desert. Like, I don't know, water carries, like all this stuff. So I'm gonna make like my best guess at how to tackle it from the start in terms of gear, but I'm gonna be open-minded to changing up that gear as I go. And honestly, I'm gonna be expecting to change up that gear. So you should honestly expect to do the same on the Appalachian Trail. But it's not only gear. I mean, that's a really obvious one, but there's other things that you could make mistakes on. Let's say your hiking pace. Just as another example, you could start off hiking way faster than you should and hiking way more miles than you should. And in fact, a lot of people do this and they get hurt and they get off the trail and it sucks. So if you are going along at a pace that you're realizing is kind of wearing down your body like a lot faster than it should, like that's a mistake. And you have to recognize that, like, okay, I made a mistake, but I need to adjust for that and change my pace. It could be a mistake in terms of food and nutrition. I've told this story before, especially on my podcast Trail Tales, but I thru-hiked most of the Appalachian Trail with my friend Mullet Mike. He made it, we met on the first day, we met on top of Springer Mountain. He made it all the way to southern Maine. He hiked over 2,000 miles. He was so close to the end, and he ended up getting really, really sick and just like malnourished basically, because he wasn't eating enough calories, and it ended up, I don't want to say ruining his thru hike, but it ended up with him not being able to complete the trail. He did go back and finish actually very recently, but at the time he wasn't able to finish because of it. That was a mistake that unfortunately he never realized. So just be aware that like things are always going to be changing. Like, you always have room for improvement. Be willing to correct your mistakes and be willing to recognize those mistakes, because that's the first step in correcting them, is to recognize them. Guys, please hit that subscribe button. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, you gotta hit that subscribe button. I'll be making more Appalachian Trail content. I've got a whole backlog of Appalachian Trail videos and other goofy nonsense bullshit videos. You gotta check it out. Thank you so much, everybody. Take care, stay safe, and I'm gonna go drink some tea.